Hello everyone. I today will be talking about none other than Universal's Epic Universe, the brand new theme park coming to Orlando, Florida in the summer of 2025, opening May 22nd. Be there, be square. I'll be there. So definitely stay tuned for those videos as well, because I'll be going the first 2 days the park is open. We'll be staying at Stella Nova. We'll have plenty of content from there on my Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, all that fun junk. And thanks to a super special, wonderful person in my life, Mr. Dante, I will have the pleasure of going to Epic Universe about 2 months early on a preview. So I am thrilled for that. Oh my God. Whew. That's Adele. I actually forgot I put that on. I was like, what is that? Yeah. Anyways, right, she's thrilled. We're thrilled for Epic Universe. Today I'm going to be talking all about what I'm excited for in the park, rides, food, lands, and I have my handy dandy phone with me because actually I made a full hype list of what I'm excited for in order in terms of rides, shows, and lands. And then I don't have like an in-order list for food, but I have some top picks that I want to talk about. And if you're wondering why there's a giant space right here, that's because I'm going to put some pictures of concept art and other things. No photos are allowed in the park yet, and no photos or videos will be allowed when I'm there. And then after the fact, I'm going to do a vlog talking about my experience, what I liked, how it compared to my hype list, all that fun stuff. With all that being said, let's jump on in. Now, Epic Universe is going to have 5 lands. It's going to be Celestial Park, that's going to be the entryway. Isle of Berk, based off of How to Train Your Dragon. We've got a whole Paris and Ministry of Magic theme land for the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. There's going to be Dark Universe based off of the classic Universal monsters. And last but not least, Super Nintendo World, including Mario and Donkey Kong and all that fun stuff. Today, I'm going to be talking about, I have a list of 11 rides. Now, there are some other attractions, like there's a play area and How to Train Your Dragon. I'm not really going to talk about those items, just the rides. And then there's going to be 2 shows I'm going to talk about. Plenty of entertainment from what I've heard, but really just as someone who hasn't been there and doesn't really know everything that they have to offer, I just kind of want to focus on the 2 shows that are kind of really being put out there. And then I'll try to talk about some food in each land and then kind of what I'm most excited for, which restaurants, which items, all that fun stuff. With all that being said, let's just dive on in. Right when you walk in the gates, you're going to be going under what is called the Chronos. And that's going to be kind of the park icon and the entryway into the park. And then right down the center, you're going to see Celestial Park, full of fountains, lovely greenery, some restaurants, a couple of attractions, and on the opposite end will be the Grand Helios Resort, which is a massive tower towering over the park. Now, I think the first thing to really start with is going to be my ranking for the lands. I think kind of establishing what's in the park is going to be a good starting point and seeing what I'm excited for just from the get-go. So, like I said, 5 lands, and truly every single thing in this park I'm beyond stoked to experience. So even if something's at the bottom of my list, I'm still super excited to try it out and see it all, and it doesn't mean I'm not going to like it and I'm not excited for it. But when you make a ranking, you gotta rank the items. So, at the bottom is going to be Celestial Park for me. Now, I think the main reason that I put it so low is because it's probably the least immersive of the 5 lands, which it's still going to be very immersive. And we've got a whole like space theme going on. It's going to be gorgeous, but I feel like a lot of the land was made for like the look of it, and it's very large, sprawling, and that's exactly what this entryway should be. So not that it's not serving its purpose, but I believe just there's less I'm excited for there. There's only going to be 2 attractions in there. You're going to have Stardust Racers, which is the roller coaster, and then also the Constellation Carousel. I'm still thrilled to see it all, and I know it's going to be gorgeous, especially at night, which I won't be able to see when I get to go the first time. But when I do finally get to see that, that's going to be a special moment. My number 4 land, the next on my list, is going to be Super Nintendo World. Now, super stoked for that land too, but I think the reason I'm putting that one so low is because I've already seen a variation of it at Hollywood. That's where I got this special guy. Yoshi is my favorite, if you can't tell. But I have seen a variation of this land already, so it's definitely the least exciting to me because of that. But at the same point, I'm still super excited to see it because it's going to be much larger than what they've got going on in Hollywood. We're going to have 2 extra attractions and kind of another mini subland based off of Donkey Kong. And just our main like hub area of Super Mario is just going to be much larger than what's going on in Hollywood. So excited to see it all, but putting that towards the bottom of my list just because I've seen a version of it already. So kind of takes away a little bit of the excitement. Now, in the middle of my list is going to be number 3, How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk. Now, these next 3 I'm like beyond excited for, just because we've never seen anything like it. And How to Train Your Dragon, I think I'm gonna spend a lot more time in there than I'm thinking. I think it's probably the most colorful, fun looking land, and there's a lot of little details here and there. So I'm excited to see it all. I think the reason I put it under my first 2 spots is because I don't have a strong attachment to the IP. Like How to Train Your Dragon's great, love it, but I've never been like a super fan or anything. I think Hiccup's Wing Gliders, the roller coaster attraction in the land, probably gonna be one of my favorites, which we'll get into later. But I think that land is going to be pretty impressive. Moving on to number 2 on my list. This little guy's gonna help me out here. So it's going to be the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, and this one is going to be themed after both Paris and the Ministry of Magic. The Ministry of Magic portion will be the attraction, and then the actual sprawling streets of the land will be Paris. And I think, one, I have a really strong attachment to Potter, and I love the movies, and the books, and the lands. So does Adele, they're classics, and I love Hogsmeade and Diagon Alley, super impressive, some of the most immersive lands in the world, truly. So getting a brand new one is just beyond crazy to me, and it looks so exciting. So many little details that you're gonna be able to pinpoint, so many new wand, like trick things, I don't know how to call that. So much new food. It's gonna be a lot different than what's in the other 2 lands because it's gonna be French instead of English. So excited to try all of that. And I just love it. And last summer I had the pleasure of going to Paris, and I literally was only in the city for 1 day, but when I was there, I fell in love with it. And I was like, I really wish I could just walk around these streets all the time. And lucky me, right down the street from me, I'm gonna have a mini version of Paris to walk around. And Epcot's a nice alternative right now, but this is going to be a lot more detailed and really have that Parisian feeling, whereas Epcot kind of just focuses on different types of architecture throughout the land. So super stoked for that land. Moving on to my number 1 spots for the lands at Epic Universe, none other than Dark Universe. The land based off of the classic Universal monsters. I've got my Bride of Frankenstein friendship bracelet on, and I think anybody that's like a big Horror Nights fan this is their top pick. I think everybody's just so excited for this. Even people that aren't in Horror Nights, we know it's gonna be next level theming, next level immersion. It's just gonna be something truly special. And we've never really seen a land based off the villains like this. We'll get another one at Disney pretty soon, but I know, I'm excited for them both. But I'm so beyond stoked for Dark Universe, and that is definitely my top pick. Most excited to see it. I really want to see it at night, which I know I won't get to see till May most likely, but cannot wait for it. Next thing I want to talk about is the shows. I'm only going to talk about the 2 main shows that they've been marketing. There's a lot of different entertainment. I know there's some different characters and such that walk around, like Celestial Park and the Ministry of Magic / Paris Land, Isle of Berk, Dark Universe, and then I know there's just some actual character meet and greets like Frankenstein's monster and his bride, a few others in Dark Universe. There's a violinist in there. You can meet Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach, Donkey Kong, and Super Nintendo World. And then over in Isle of Berk, I know you can meet Hiccup and Toothless, I believe Astrid as well, and then a couple other characters. So there's definitely some options, but I'm not gonna really go into that much depth with it. I just wanna talk about the 2 main shows, and that's gonna be the circus show in Harry Potter's land, and then the Untrainable Dragon over in Isle of Berk. Now, both of these I'm so excited for. Untrainable Dragon, I forget which park it exists in, but It does exist in a park already, and I've never gotten to see it, but I've seen videos and such, and I remember seeing it like open and being like, I need to see this in person immediately. It's going to include a lot of incredible puppets and live action characters, and Toothless will even fly above the theater at one point in the show. So I can't wait to see it. I think it's going to be something truly special. But I am putting it as my second most excited show of these two, just because I think the circus show over in Wizarding World, I really know nothing about it. I've seen the concept art, and other than that, I don't know anything about it. And I'm just so excited to really see what it has to offer, you know? Definitely want to see that show more than Untrainable Dragon. Hopefully I get to see them both when I go, but the Potter show is definitely a top priority just because I know nothing and I really want to find out what's going on in the show before I get it spoiled. So hopefully I get the chance to do that, but we'll see. Next, before I get into the rides, that's kind of the big finale I want to do. I want to talk about food in the park. Now, I'm going to have to hold my phone and look down at it a little bit more for this one, just because I have so many different things to say, or so many different items on this list, and I can't remember them all off the top of my head. I just went through all the food yesterday, at least the stuff I could find. Some of the menus have been released, and then there's some photos that have been released. So I'm going to try to add some photos here if I can, but we'll see. So I really don't have a ranking. I have, it looks like 5 top picks overall for the whole park. And I'll mention those when I get to them. And then I'll also have some top picks for all the lands. But I'll just go land by land. So let's start with Celestial Park. And I think my top thing in this land is going to be Pizza Moon, which is going to be the pizza restaurant. I'm just very excited. It sounds very cool. The concept art looks really good. And then I've heard the pizza's stellar. And some of the stuff really interests me. Like, I can't wait to try the giant mushroom pizza. That sounds so good. And then they've got this dessert called the Brownie Eclipse. Shout out Sunny Eclipse. But it just looks really good. And then Oaken Star Tavern, I know, has some pretty yummy looking breakfast. They've also got like Hawaiian mango bread. I'm excited to see what that's like. There's like a little bao spot somewhere in there. And I don't know anything on that menu, but I love bao buns. So I'm excited to try that. And then also I'm excited for Frosty Moon. That's gonna be like the specialty ice cream shop in the land. And I'm really excited to see what they've got going on there. Again, another thing that I don't have the menu for, but very excited for that. Let me check really quick on some of the other food offerings in the land. I know that they're gonna have a restaurant called the Atlantic. That's gonna be some pretty high-end dining from what I understand. And that's going to be a full table service. The other full table service in the land is going to be the Blue Dragon Pan-Asian restaurant. Excited for that one as well. Some other things that are going on in the land. There's a lot. So I'm literally just looking at the map on the app right now. There's the Celeste Tiki Bar. We've got something called the Plastered Owl and Oaken Star Tavern. I believe those are like connected. And let's see. There's a Starbucks in the land. We've got the Meteor Astro Pub, Bar Zenith. There's a restaurant called Comet Dogs, just a little shop on the side. That's gonna be next to the carousel. I believe that covers everything in Celestial Park, unless something's not listed on here. But moving on, let's go over to Isle of Berk, just because that's what I'm looking at. So Isle of Berk is gonna have 3 places to eat at. The first, kind of the main place from what I understand, is Mead Hall. That's going to be a really large, I know, I'm excited too. It's going to be a really large quick service restaurant right in the heart of the land, and kind of the big mountain peak that oversees the whole land is going to be what's on top of the restaurant. So excited for that. There's some really good looking stuff there. There's something called Stormfly's Catch of the Day. It's a specialty dessert. It's like a chocolate mousse. Looks really cute. I'm also excited to try the grilled salmon, and they've got like Swedish meatballs. So I'm excited for all of that. There's also going to be a place called Spitfire Grill right next to the Fyre Drill attraction, and that's going to have like bowls and such, so like chicken or salmon, stuff like that. And then the last one is going to be Hooligan's Grog and Gruel, and that's going to be a specialty mac and cheese cone place. So I kind of want to try that one. That one might be one of the ones I go and get during this preview. So hopefully I get the chance for that. That's definitely my top pick for Isle of Berk. Now moving on to Super Nintendo World, my top pick, absolutely, at the Toadstool Cafe. The Toadstool Cheesy Garlic Knots. Now I've been to the Toadstool Cafe in Hollywood and the menu is very similar. There's only a few differences. I know, it was pretty good, I know. You could see my vlog of us going in there. But the one thing that they were out of that day that we were so excited to try is the Toadstool Cheesy Garlic Knots, which sound and look incredible. And I'm so upset that I didn't get to try them. So absolutely top of my list. That might literally be one of the top picks of the whole park. And then they're also gonna have a little spot called Yoshi Snack Island, which is specialty like fruit beverages, I believe. There's gonna be Turbo Boost treats. And then the Bubbly Barrel is going to be in the Donkey Kong subsection of the land. Now, moving on from that, let's go over into the Wizarding World. So there's gonna be 4 restaurants, it looks like, according to this map. There's going to be a butterbeer cart, standard butterbeer carts. And now most of these things, they're gonna be in French. I don't know how to say them all. Café de la Sirène. Sorry if I butchered that. I don't speak French, so I'm sorry. But it looks really good. I'm very excited. I know, I'm so excited to go there. The food looks incredible. Now, from what I understand, this is where the butterbeer crepe is going to be. And that is like my top pick for the park. I'm so excited to try that. I've heard it's incredible, and a butterbeer crepe just sounds incredible, I've gotta say. And then some of the other places, there's also a place called Les Gobelets Noirs, and that kind of seems to be a like little bar kind of vibe. I know they're gonna have some food there, but it's kind of a more, you know, similar to like Three Broomsticks maybe. And then there's also going to be something called Bar Moonshine, which is attached to that. So like I said, Three Broomsticks, they've got a bar attached. It's gonna be just like that. Now, a couple other things in the Wizarding World that are gonna be like in shops, I believe. There's some butterbeer treats. One, butterbeer macarons. That is my top pick other than the crate. And one of my top picks for the park. I am so excited to try that. And hopefully it's available when I go. And then butterbeer truffles sounds good. And also butterbeer caramel filled chocolate barrels. That sounds crazy. I cannot wait to try that. Now, last land for us to go to is Dark Universe. It looks like there's gonna be 3 restaurants in this land. It's going to be Das Steakhouse, DeLacy's Cottage, and the Burning Blade Tavern, which that's gonna be my most anticipated in the whole park is Burning Blade. Now, DeLacy's Cottage, I do wanna go to. I've heard they've got like cinnamon like bread bites or cinnamon bread or something along the lines of that. Now, if you've been to Dollywood, you know cinnamon bread is not something to mess around with. As in, it's incredible. So I cannot wait to get that, and I'll probably get that when I go. And that's gonna be one of my top picks for the park. Das Steakhouse, there's some good looking stuff there. There's like an orange chicken sandwich I really wanna get. I don't know if I'll go there when I go on my first visits, but definitely excited for that. Burning Blade Tavern, absolute must. I wanna try everything on that menu, including, I've heard the drinks are incredible. I've heard that's a really big like hangout for people so far, and I'm sure it will remain that way. And my absolute top food pick is going to be the Hunter's Garlic Steak, which is like a garlic pretzel bread twist thing. I don't know. It just sounds so crazy. I know, it's gonna be good. And I need to get that. Need to get that. Cannot wait. Now, our final portion of this video is going to be my ranking for the attractions in the park. I'm gonna be ranking 11 attractions. As I said, they're all gonna be rides. And let's start at the bottom. So, coming in at the bottom of the pyramid, Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge. Now, listen, hear me out. It's because I've been on it. I went on the one in Hollywood. From what I understand, this is the exact same. I'm sure some of the queue will be different, and the exterior I know is different a little bit, just because the land is set up different, but I've been on it. I'm excited to go on it again. It's a fun ride, but I've been on it. It's obviously at the bottom of my hype list. Now, I will say where I probably would place it later on in the video if I hadn't been on it, but for now, it's gonna be at the bottom, sorry. Now the next 2 on my list, 10 and 9, are going to actually both be in the Isle of Berk. Now, at 10 is going to be Fyre Drill. That's like a water ride where you like shoot targets and stuff. Something similar to that is at Legoland, and it'll be fun, for sure. It looks fun, it definitely looks better than the one at Legoland, but at the same time, I'm not always down to get wet, and it looks pretty short, so it's not super high on my list. and definitely my least hyped, but I'm excited to try it out at least. And then next on top of that at number 9 is going to be Dragon Racers Rally, which is like a flat ride. It's actually, they've got different variations of it across the world. I've actually been on a variation of it at Nickelodeon Universe in the Mall of America, and it is fun. It's fun. I think me having been on it already also puts it a little lower. Obviously not this variation of it, but it's the same ride system, so a little less excited for that reason, but it's still fun. I think also I'm a little concerned on capacity on that one. It does have 2 kind of sides of it, so it'll be constantly moving, but there's only so many seats on the ride, and you know, obviously you can only fit so many people at a time, and I feel like it's going to move a little bit slower for that. So that's something I would enjoy doing if it was like 15-minute wait or less, but not something that I'm going to want to really repeat if it's a long wait. Next on my list at number 8 is going to be the Constellation Carousel. Now, this does look like a very cool carousel. It probably will be the coolest carousel I've ever been on, maybe. I do really love the carousel. They've got like a racing carousel called like Cedar Downs at Cedar Point, and that is my favorite carousel ever. That's so much fun. So we'll see if it beats that one. But it does look like it's going to be really good, and I'm very curious of how it looks interesting how it's set up for the concept art, so I'm very interested to see it. But also, you can only place a carousel so high when you've got so many other incredible attractions, I feel like. Next on my list at number 7 is going to be Curse of the Werewolf, which is in Dark Universe. It's going to be a family coaster, a spinning coaster, and I think this one was definitely more of a last-minute addition, and I think it's something that excites me, and I'm not sure if there's an animatronic in it. There's definitely a werewolf in it, but I'm not sure if it's just a statue or an animatronic or something. And a spinning coaster is fun, but I think the ride looks very short from what I've seen from like aerial footage and just the layout. So I think I'm a little less excited because of that, but I do think it's going to be fun, and I'm excited for it nonetheless. I think it's going to be even better at night, so definitely super hyped to see that. Next on my list at number 6 is going to be Yoshi's Adventure. Now, a lot of you might be like, you're putting it that high? Yes. 1, I love Yoshi. This is my dude right here. Obsessed with him. 2, I really just like a nice, like, slow-moving attraction like this. There's really no, like, family-friendly dark rides. There's some great dark rides in this park, don't get me wrong, but there's nothing, like, kind of like, I would put it on the perspective of, like, E.T., or Cat in the Hat. We don't have rides like that in this park, and Yoshi's probably the closest you're going to get to that. It's a little different because it's outdoors. It's kind of like a mixture of one of those rides with like, say, like the People Mover or the High in the Sky Seuss Trolley Train ride. It's like a mixture of those two. So I'm excited for it, for sure. I love both of those types of attractions, and I think parks need more of them. So I am putting it in the middle of my list because I'm so excited for that, and it's probably going to be something I really like and one of my favorites, just because I love rides like that. But at the end of the day, I can't really put it above the rest of the list because the rest of the list is pretty good and it's like top tier stuff. So I think middle of the list is perfect for Yoshi's Adventure, actually. Now, at this point in the video, I'm going to say if I had never been on Bowser's Challenge before this, I would have probably placed it right above Yoshi on my list. So if you're curious of my placement on that would be the alternate if I hadn't been on it. Because for this video, I'm just talking about what I'm hyped about, not necessarily what I think is going to be my favorite or where I'm going to rank it between all the rides. You know, now, drum roll, please. Top 5. Top 5, people. Coming in at number 5 for me is going to be Stardust Racers. Now, a lot of people I think are going to question why this is all the way at number 5 for me, because I think most people would have this in their top 3 for sure. Now, for me, I'm a bit of an old man. I can't lie. Like Hulk and Rip Ride, I don't do. They hurt my neck, my back, my head. So I don't do them at all. I've been on them, but I don't do them at all. And then rides like Velocicoaster I can do, and because they're a bit smoother, but I can only do them every so often. So that's kind of why Stardust Racers is a little lower for me. I think it's going to be incredible. We got 2 separate tracks here that are pretty similar but different. So you're really kind of getting 2 attractions here. I'm very excited for this. And I think it's going to be a fun time, and it's going to be similar in terms of thrill level to Velocicoaster. That's also what I've heard. So I'm very excited for this one. and it might end up going higher on my list, but I have also heard some word of it being a little more shaky, rickety. So that's a little concerning, but I'll test it out for myself and find out. Coming in at number 4, we are going to head over to Isle of Burke. Now, this ride is going to be called Hiccup's Wing Gliders, and it's going to be a family coaster. And this, I would say, is kind of this park's version of Hagrid's. It's going to be a little more closer to the ground, twisting and turning. There's some animatronics, and it actually winds through the whole land. And I think it's just going to be a very fun ride. And I feel like this is going to be something I repeat a lot, just because I don't think it'll be as busy as some of the other top tier rides for me that are at this park. And I think it'll be easier to get on. And it's just, I think it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be nice, smooth, enjoyable. And I'm really excited for this one. I can't lie. Coming in at number 3 is going to be Minecart Madness, based off of Donkey Kong in Super Nintendo World. Now this ride, I actually not sure I'll like it as much as, say, Stardust or Hiccups, but I'm very curious of it. It's a very unique ride system, and I've never seen anything like it. I'm not sure if anything like it exists. So I'm so excited to see what the ride is like and experience it. And that's why I'm putting it at number 3 on my hype list. So I'm very excited for this one. I do think I'm gonna like it a lot, but I do think at the end of the day, Hiccups and Stardust will end up beating that out, but still excited. Coming in at number 2 is actually a ride I'm not gonna have the pleasure of doing yet. We're gonna go over to the Wizarding World, and it's going to be Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry. Now, this one, the reason I'm not gonna be able to do it, I've heard it's not fully completed yet. They're still trying to figure out some testing with the ride vehicles and dispatch times. So nobody's been on it as far as I know, and it hasn't been open for other previews, and it most likely will not open for my preview. So unfortunately, I probably won't get to go on it, but I'm so excited. I really don't know much about it. I know it's like kind of the ride concept is like an elevator. You're in an elevator kind of, but not in the sense of Tower of Terror. You're more on a track. The elevator goes up and down and the track moves around. I don't know. It's so unique, something fully different. I think this is going to be a top tier ride for Universal, one of their best. And I'm so excited to see it and just see what it is, you know? I'm hoping that there's a lot of animatronics in this one, and I'm sure there will be screens, but I'm hoping it's a good mixture of both. So I'm really excited for this one. Now, drum roll, please. Number 1, my absolute top most anticipated ride in this whole park is going to be over in Dark Universe, and it's going to be Monsters Unchained, the Frankenstein Experiment. Now, I've heard incredible things about this ride. I've already talked about Dark Universe as my most anticipated land, and people are just raving about this ride. It's basically Forbidden Journey, but taking it to the next level. I've heard that it doesn't really make you as sick because it's more animatronic based than screen based. And the animatronics, they've released some clips of them, pictures. They look incredible, next level. So I'm beyond excited for that one. And just, yeah, oh, I know there has been some downtime for that ride. It's pretty city art, next level, so I understand. But I'm really hoping I get to go on that one, because I'll definitely be very upset if I don't. But we'll see. I'm so excited for that one. And I just can't wait to get to experience this park. It's next level. The idea of getting to go to a brand new Disney Universal theme park for the first time in my life is just something I can't even fathom, really. I've been coming to these parks since I was young, and it's hard to believe this is a first in my life for me, and I'm so excited. I can't wait. Definitely stay tuned for my next video regarding Epic Universe. I'm going to be talking about my experience, everything I did there. Like I said, no photos or videos will be allowed. I promise you I will not be taking either of those. I will be following that rule, but I absolutely am so excited to talk about all of my experiences, my rides, see how my list today ranks with my list after I go. So stay tuned. If you are curious to hear some more and see some of my future adventures at Epic Universe, please like, comment, and subscribe. I would very much so appreciate it. Thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed, and I'll see you after Epic.